All right, it is our second day of round of 16 action here at this World Cup. We have two just phenomenal games for you today. Brazil takes on Norway in what should be a phenomenal match. Of course, Erling Haaland going up against this Jogo Bonito Brazilian team coached by Carlo Ancelotti. And then in our late game, I'm nervous. It is co-host Mexico at the Azteca for the final time this World Cup, taking on the Three Lions of England. A lot to get to here, so let's get after it. Welcome into World Cup Preview, World Cup Today, here on the Nick Burt Sports Network. I am your host, as always, Nick Burt. We are here for another two round of 16 matchups. It's hard to believe after today, the round of 16 is halfway over. It's kind of scary, which means the tournament is rapidly drawing to a conclusion. Before we get to all that, though, we do have two phenomenal games for you today. And we are going to start up at the New York, New Jersey Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It is Brazil taking on Norway. This is going to be a phenomenal matchup. Of course, Norway, you look at their tournament run so far. They had the 4-1 victory against Iraq. They had a 3-2 victory against Senegal. They played their B squad against France and lost 4-1. They get their first ever knockout stage victory, a 2-1 win against Côte d'Ivoire in the round of 32. For Brazil, it was a 1-1 draw against Morocco, and it's been wins since then. A 3-0 win against Haiti, a 3-0 win against Scotland, and a 2-1 stoppage time victory against Japan to see them move on to the round of 16. Now, of course, this is going to be a fantastic battle of your two strikers in this game. Vinícius Júnior, who has 4 goals this tournament. I believe he has an assist. And then Erling Haaland on the other side, who has 5 goals this tournament and has 0 assists. This is going to be a phenomenal matchup at the front. How each team kind of tactically tries to figure things out to stop each other will be interesting. Notably, though, obviously, Norway get through. It was, Haaland getting the game-winning goal in the 86th minute against the Ivory Coast. It was Nusa that got the goal that started this game, and he has had kind of a quieter but very good tournament. For Norway, if they are going to win this game, they are going to need all the help they can get from all the players on this squad. And it can't just be Haaland getting this done today. So they're going to need, the Alexander Schorloff to have a game. They're going to need Sander Berg, Patrick Berg, Martin Ødegaard, of course. They're all going to have great games tomorrow. And Orjan Nyland, the goalkeeper, he's going to have to be on his game. Because although this Brazil team hasn't been the best this tournament, they are still Brazil. I have said since the beginning of this tournament, this Brazil team isn't as good as they usually are. This might be one of the worst teams Brazil's ever sent to a World Cup, and that's saying something. But this is still Brazil. They still have plenty of talent. The one stat that does worry me here, and this has been a tournament for breaking stats, but Brazil has lost all 6 World Cup knockout ties against European opponents since the 2002 final, which, when you truly think about it, that is a absolutely insane stat. This is going to truly be one to watch. Of course, these teams have faced off once before in a World Cup. And it was Norway walking away victorious with a 2-1 victory back in France in 98. One of the greatest days in Norwegian football history. That it's going to be tough to match that today. I will say that. If there's a team to knock out Brazil, I think it is Norway, and that is because of the Erling Haaland factor. The problem is you are counting on everybody else showing up. I don't know if you can count on everybody else showing up in this game. Obviously, hopefully we get a phenomenal game, but kind of feels like Brazil might run away with this game a little bit. The questions, of course, Rafinha, what's his health? Luis Paqueta, what's his health? Those are two big questions. But you do look at like one of the matchups here. One of the people that is going to be set up to stop Erling Haaland is Gabriel, of course, who plays for Woolwich Arsenal. So they have history with each other. That is going to be quite interesting to see how that goes. I'm still taking Brazil to win this one. I know they struggled against Japan. It took a 95th minute winner to get that game, but I am still taking Japan here. I don't see it going truly any other way for Brazil to move on to the quarterfinals. Now, the second game of the day, it is going to be the Estadio Azteca at night. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff. A lot of weather talk in the past few days about this game, so there could be a few delays here and there. It is co-host Mexico taking on England. This is quite a clash of nations. First off, at the Azteca, elevation, all that fun stuff to talk about. I'm more looking at the fact Mexico's hosted 3 World Cups. They made it to the quarterfinal each of the last 2 times. Obviously, a win sends them to a quarterfinal here for a 3rd time. In those past 2 World Cups, and of course this World Cup, they've never lost a game at the Azteca. And I do think about the history of the Azteca. It's just such a grandiose stadium. It's the Wembley of CONCACAF, I guess I would say. And then you start thinking about the future. You know, they did a large-scale renovation of the stadium to get it World Cup ready for 2026. The earliest CONCACAF can host again is 2038. And obviously the guess is the United States will be hosting again. The question is, will it be co-hosted again with, Mexico or anybody else? Or is it going to be the United States alone? We have to look at this as potentially being the last ever World Cup game at the Azteca, which is sad to think about because this Pele, Maradona, a ton of Mexican legends, obviously, but you think about those two specifically who had just phenomenal tournaments in 70 and 86. It feels like it's the ending of an era. Now, it does feel a bit fitting that the potential final ever game at the Azteca is up against England. Now, it would be more fitting if it was up against a Brazil or an Argentina who won a World Cup there, but England were on the other side of the most famous goal in that stadium's history, the Hand of God. And here we are, 40 years later, and they are playing in a game at the Azteca. Now, everybody has been pointing to this game since the group stage draw happened back in December, and they said if England make it top of the group and Mexico finish top of the group and they both win their games, England's heading to the Azteca in the round of 16. That's going to be dangerous. It sure is going to be dangerous. I'm terrified. I am so terrified. As somebody that obviously lives in a CONCACAF nation, watches all the CONCACAF tournaments, Nations League, Gold Cup, Champions Cup for club competitions, I know this Mexico team is good. I know they're going to have home field advantage. And obviously, England supporter, I know the history here. It was scary on Wednesday, the DR Congo game. That worried me a lot. They really should not have struggled that much. For Mexico, they exercised some ghost, getting their, first ever World Cup knockout stage victory in 30 years or something like that. Maybe, I think it was 40, because the last time they would have made it out would be when they hosted in 86. So I look at England. It's the first time they'd come from behind in a World Cup knockout stage match to win since the 1966 final against West Germany. This is, again, I'm so terrified. I don't think England's prepared for the elevation. I really don't. And maybe it doesn't matter. And maybe they're going to go out there and beat Mexico 3-0. And it's just going to be a disaster off the field. But this is worrying. Raúl Jiménez, the striker for Mexico, if you look at his stats against Premier League goalkeepers, there's one goalkeeper he scores against more than any other. And if your guess was Jordan Pickford, you would be correct. That is quite the interesting stat as we look at a game at the Azteca in a round of 16 match in a World Cup. That is quite the stat. I don't know what Thomas Tuchel is doing at the right back position. Reece James injured. Kwanzaa injured. He may be available. Declan Rice kind of injured. Jed Spence, not great, not terrible. I don't know. This is so worrying to me. This does truly feel like a crossroads moment for England at this tournament, because if they win this game, I do think they can truly do anything here. And obviously, if they lose this game, they're out. So basically, it's going to be hope of a nation for England if they win this game, or it's completely going down in flames. Is it going to be worth the pain? I don't know. It's already been 60 years of pain for England. I don't know if I can continue on here. I know I'm not 60, but this is... If this game was played on paper, England win this game easy. But football is not played on paper. It's played on the grass, and it's played at 2,000 meters above sea level. I'm picking England, but deep down I know Mexico is going to win this game. I hate saying that, but it just feels like Mexico's going to win this game, and I hate it so much. And to think, I think about Harry Kane, basically. This is probably his last great chance at a World Cup. And going out to Mexico in the round of 16 is just, oh my God. And then I have flashbacks to 2018, the loss to Croatia. 22 is missed penalty against France. Oh my God. Oh. Please, England, please. Just get it done tomorrow. Because I truly believe if you can get it done tomorrow, you can beat anybody in this tournament. Now, France, that might be a different question, but I truly believe if you can get past the Azteca, I think anything is possible. So please, England, please. I'm begging. That's going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching this World Cup preview. We'll be back tonight probably, recapping it. We'll be in joy, we'll be in misery, we'll be in something. Thank you so much for watching. If you just stumbled across this video, click like, click subscribe, tell everybody you know about it. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again soon for another episode of something World Cup related here on the Nick Burt Sports Network.